welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
I'm Winnie.
All right, today we're going to be talking about some kinds of art, some way that you can make art. So, Winnie, are you an artist? Is art something you're interested in?
Well, in high school, I actually studied art, and we used a lot of what we call mediums, which is different ways of creating art. So, for example, paint, pencil, sculpting, and I kind of did everything. We kind of covered all of those bases. But yeah, so art is something that I'm very interested in, and I would say there are a lot of people really good at math and, science. I was more, artistic, creative.
Okay, more of a creative type, we might say.
Yes. What about you?
I always enjoyed sketching and drawing, and in high school I did take some animation classes, so it's not quite the same as traditional art, but it is drawing pictures and making things move, and we even did claymation, which is making clay figures move, so you have to move them slowly as you make a scene, and it takes forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you must be, I was gonna say, are you patient? Because those things take a lot of time.
Yeah, it's why I didn't continue it very long.
Yes, but we are talking about art because today's topic is rice paddy art, painting with plants, part 1. And of course, a paddy is a field in which a lot of things are growing. Today, specifically, we're talking about rice, like rice fields. So I'm interested because how art, plants? I don't know. I don't know.
Let's find out.
Farming and creativity don't often go hand in hand. But in Asia, rice paddy art is turning ordinary fields into giant canvases. Adults and children alike are delighted by the surprisingly complex images. However, you may be asking, how is the art created from only rice shoots? The secret is to use different kinds of rice. As the plants grow, each type turns a different color, ranging from shades of green to purple to bring an artwork to life. The pictures are clear and easy to see from high places, such as towers or hills. Designs can show mountains, animals, or even famous characters from movies and cartoons.
Hello everyone! Today we're looking at part 1 of our article, Rice Paddy Art, Painting with Plants.
Ooh.
And so a rice paddy or a paddy is a field that is used to grow rice, and it's a field that can be flooded with water for growing things like rice.
Okay, so I'm interested in seeing what this article is about. So let's start. Farming and creativity don't often go hand in hand, but in Asia, rice paddy art is turning ordinary fields into giant canvases. That's a lot. Wow, I didn't even know this was possible. But yeah, you don't really think about art when you think about things like planting and farming.
Well, I know, in North America, people sometimes will make art in cornfields, or they'll also make cornfield mazes in the shapes of things. So
or like crop circles, right?
Crop circles as well, which is from people pushing down the crops to make art in the fields.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right, so here we can turn ordinary fields into giant canvases. So a canvas is a piece of blank material that is used to create art on or to paint on. You might think of a blank white painting. Well, when you think of a painting, the blank white part is the canvas, and you apply paint to that to make art. Canvas itself is a material that is made from plants. And when it is used as an uncountable noun, as in the shirt is made of canvas, then we know that we're talking about the material. But when we use it as a countable noun, in this case, into giant canvases, so we have more than one canvas, then you know that we are talking about the artwork use of canvas, the thing that you paint on.
Yeah, usually they're stretched out on top of a piece of wood, and then you can do whatever you want on that. We also have this word, creativity, which is our noun. And it basically just means when you use your imagination and your ideas to make or think of something. So you create something. So that's where that comes from. So for example, creativity is probably Liam's greatest strength. So a lot of people will describe themselves even as creative people, kind of like us. Yeah.
All right, continuing with the article. Adults and children alike are delighted by the surprisingly complex images.
Whoa. Okay, we gotta take it back. There's a lot of words here. First of all, what does it mean to delight someone?
Okay, so to be delighted or to delight someone means to give someone a feeling of great pleasure, to make someone very happy or feeling good. So if you're delighted to see these Paddy field arts, these rice paddy art, you feel very happy. You feel good to see it.
Right.
So an example sentence, I was delighted to hear that you are getting married.
Right, so it makes you happy. And then we have this word complex. What does that mean?
Complex means the same as like complicated. So when something is complex, it has many elements to it and it's not easy to do or to understand. So when we talk about complex images, we mean pictures that have many different parts to them and it's not simple.
So there's a lot going on in the image. Okay, interesting.
Continuing with the article, however, you may be asking, how is the art created from only rice shoots?
Yes, I am wondering that. Because when you think of art, you think of like sketching something and then painting it. And especially when you're talking about farming, farming takes a lot of time. So you kind of have to wait for this art.
Right, and we talked about painting with plants in the title. I don't think, so when I think of painting, I think of moving a brush around and making these different images. But with rice shoots, you can't, unless we're just
dipping it in paint?
the rice shoot in paint and painting with it.
That'd be kind of weird. Anyway, continuing on. The secret is to use different kinds of rice. So as we know, isn't just one type of rice. There's black rice, there's white rice, there's basmati rice. They're all different species of rice. Continuing on, as the plants grow, each type turns a different color, ranging from shades of green to purple to bring an artwork to life. So yes, as we know, like flowers, we have a lot of different colored flowers, but rice is the same way. We have different shades of colors. So for example, what is a shade? A shade is basically a different level of a color, right? We can have shades of green. So we don't just have one type of green, we have a lot of different types of greens. So the wall was painted in a light shade of yellow. So as we know, we don't just have one type of color because our eyes see a lot of different colors.
Okay. All right, back to the article. The pictures are clear and easy to see from high places, such as towers or hills. Designs can show mountains, animals, or even famous characters from movies and cartoons.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, I would imagine you can't really stand next to the rice paddy and see it. You'd have to be somewhere high.
You have to be at least a little bit higher than the rice paddy to see it. Otherwise, you'll just see a wall of rice plants.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to learn more about rice paddy art after the break.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这2天的课程是关于 Rice Paddy Art 稻田艺术。Paddy 这个字就是指稻田。那么农业跟创意通常不会有密切相关，但是在亚洲，稻田艺术把普通的田地变成了巨大的画布，大人小孩都对这些复杂的图像感到兴奋雀跃。那它的秘诀就在于使用不同种类的稻米，随着稻米生长，每个种类都会变成不同的颜色。那从深浅不等的绿色到紫色都有，让这个艺术品栩栩如生。不过啊，这些图案得从高处比较容易清楚看见。那文中它用到 go hand in hand， 就是指密切相关或者是相伴而生。那么 bring something to life， 它可以表达使什么栩栩如生，让什么活灵活现。再来看课文单字 creativity， creativity 是名词，它表示创意、创造力。 Delighted 则是形容愉快的、高兴的。那么 shade 这个字可以用来表达色彩它的浓淡、深浅或者是色调。再看到 canvas 表示油画布或者是帆布。Matt 老师聊到说，在北美洲，人们有时也会将玉米田打造成迷宫。那老师说的 cornfield 就是指玉米田，还有 maze M-A-Z-E， 那这个字它可以指迷宫似的区域，或是迷宫，或者是错综复杂的事物。那么 Winnie 老师在讲到不同种类的稻米时，他提到 basmati rice 就是指印度香米。那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是 turn 当动词，它可以指变成、使变成。那以下介绍两种用法。第一个，我们可以用 turn A into B 来表达把 A 变成 B。举例来说 ，She turned an old pair of jeans into a new bag。她把一条旧的牛仔裤变成一个新包包。那第二个可以用 turn 当连缀动词，之后是接形容词或名词，表达变成某个状态。例如 ，The bread has turned stale， 面包已经变得不新鲜了。好，接话课文中。
While many art forms have hundreds or thousands of years of history, rice paddy art began only around 30 years ago. The idea was born in the small village of Inakadate, Japan, where rice has been grown for over 2,000 years. Locals who wanted to attract tourists combined their farming knowledge with inspiration drawn from the sight of children planting rice in colorful strips. Their efforts paid off, and crowds have flocked to the town and supported the local economy ever since.
Welcome back. So before the break, we are talking about rice paddy art. So many people, when they see this rice paddy art, they are delighted by how complex and how interesting the images that people can make are. And they make these complex images by using different kinds of rice. So different kinds of rice plants are different colors, and they can range from greens all the way to purples.
Yeah.
With which they can make these beautiful images.
Yeah, because when we think of rice, we think just white, right? But actually, there's so many colors. But let's continue on with the article. While many art forms have hundreds or thousands of years of history, rice paddy art began only around 30 years ago. The idea was born in the small village of Inakadate, Japan, where rice has been grown for over 2,000 years. That's a long time.
Well, it's 2,000 years of growing rice, but someone only thought to do this 30 years ago.
Yeah, maybe they ran out of paper and they were like, well, you know what? I have a bunch of rice.
Gotta make some art somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing with the article, locals who wanted to attract tourists combined their farming knowledge with inspiration drawn from the sight of children planting rice in colorful strips.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, that's nice.
Okay, so yeah, they thought that this would be a good way to attract tourists to their village, so to get people to come and spend time and hopefully spend money in this village.
Well, it's kind of like in Holland, you think of tulips, and a lot of people go there for that. So this is kind of a new thing for some people who are going to travel to Japan.
All right, so they took inspiration from the children that were planting rice in colorful strips. So inspiration is something that makes you want to do something or want to do something in a certain way. So when they say they took inspiration, meaning they were inspired, because to inspire is a verb, meaning causing someone to want to do something with a desire to do something. So that gives you inspiration, which is the noun. So an example sentence, my new book draws inspiration from my own life.
Right, so you get the idea.
So the idea is coming from my own life.
Nice. Okay, so continuing on with the article, their efforts paid off, and crowds have flocked to the town and supported the local economy ever since. So just like we were talking about tourism, this is another kind of a site for them to go and say, oh, I want to take a photo of that. Yeah, so we're talking about supporting the local economy. Now, what is an economy? An economy is a noun, and it basically just talks about the wealth and the resources of a country, or in this case, this region. And it's basically talking about the flow of money. And when you have kind of, for example, tourists coming, you have their money coming into your neighborhood, your environment. So, for example, the government is unpopular because the economy is failing. So when the economy is failing, that means people are losing money and opportunities to make money. But in this case, they kind of revamped their local economy by giving people a reason to go and visit them. And if they go and visit them, then maybe they'll go to the gift shop and buy rice. I don't know what they sell there.
Probably a popular thing to buy from there if it's a rice producing place. But yeah, it's interesting how a small town or village can create a tourism industry, a tourism economy, just by thinking of something new that they can do with what they already have.
Yeah.
So they already had the rice fields, but they can make those more attractive to tourists by creating art with those rice fields.
Yeah, it's a very creative way to take something you already have and make it into something new. Well, that is all for today, but don't worry, we have part 2 tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
稻田艺术大约是在30年前开始的。那这个想法是在日本的小村庄田社馆村所产生的。那个地方种植稻米已经有2000多年的历史。那他们看到孩子们将稻米种植成彩色的条状，就获得了灵感，然后再结合自身的农业知识，创造出稻田艺术，成功吸引观光客。那也支持了当地的经济。好，单字 inspiration 这个名词它表示灵感、灵感来源或是启发。也可以指具有启发性的人事物。那课文用到 draw inspiration from 加上名词，就可以表达从什么什么得到灵感。再看到 economy 这个字表示经济或者是经济情况。Winnie 老师在讲到改善经济时，他用到 revamp 这个字 revamp 它可以指改进或是改造。那这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是名词加上分词 VING 或 PP， 也就是分词片语修饰名词的用法。主格关系代名词 who、which 或是 that 所引导的形容词子句，我们可以省略掉关系代名词，再把动词改成分词来修饰先行词。那形容词子句是表示主动或进行时，就改成现在分词 VING； 表示被动时，就用过去分词 PP。那我们来看一个例子。They visited a castle which was built in the 16th century. 他们参观一座建于16世纪的城堡。那其中的 which was built in the 16th century 这是形容词子句。那可以把 which was built 简化成 built， 变成 They visited a castle built in the 16th century. 这时候就可以看到 a castle 后面是直接接了过去分词 built 来修饰。好，第二个重点是 ever since 的用法。since 在这边当副词，表示此后、从此。那么 ever 是用来加强语气 ，ever since 常常会搭配现在完成式。举例来说 ，They moved to Chicago 5 years ago and have lived there ever since. 他们5年前搬到芝加哥，从此就住在那里了。好，那么以上件讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Farming and creativity don't often go hand in hand, but in Asia, rice paddy art is turning ordinary fields into giant canvases. Adults and children alike are delighted by the surprisingly complex images. However, you may be asking, how is the art created from only rice shoots? The secret is to use different kinds of rice. As the plants grow, each type turns a different color, ranging from shades of green to purple to bring an artwork to life. The pictures are clear and easy to see from high places, such as towers or hills. Designs can show mountains, animals, or even famous characters from movies and cartoons. While many art forms have hundreds or thousands of years of history, rice paddy art began only around 30 years ago. The idea was born in the small village of Inakadate, Japan, where rice has been grown for over 2,000 years. Locals who wanted to attract tourists combined their farming knowledge with inspiration drawn from the sight of children planting rice in colorful strips. Their efforts paid off, and crowds have flocked to the town and supported the local economy ever since.
I'm so bored with doing the same thing every weekend.
Well, maybe we should cook up a new idea for our weekends.
Cook up an idea? What, do you want to make a meal or something?
No, not literally. To cook up an idea means to invent or create something, especially like a plan or a solution to a problem.
Oh, okay. We should have a themed movie night for our friends and family.
Or maybe like a cozy outdoor barbecue dinner party.
Oh, yeah. Now that's what I call cooking up an idea. Let's plan that out.
Yeah, okay, well, you're gonna call somebody though.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna call Michael and George.
Hi everyone, today we're looking at the idiom cook up an idea.
That's right. It's a creative way of saying that someone is planning or creating something new.
The phrase is often used when someone is trying to come up with a solution to a problem or when they're planning an event or a project.
For example, if your team at work needs a new marketing strategy, you might say, we need to cook up an idea to boost our sales.
Or if you're trying to surprise a friend for their birthday, you could say, let's cook up an idea for a surprise party.
It's a fun and imaginative phrase that adds a little flavor to the concept of planning and creating.
So next time you have a problem or a project, remember to cook up some fresh ideas.
And who knows, your cooked up ideas might just be the recipe for success.
That's all for today.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.